My child, come closer and listen carefully. You keep choosing others over yourself. You say yes when you mean no. You agree when you feel uncomfortable. You stay silent when something hurts. You show up for them. You adjust for them. You apologize to them. But you disappear from yourself. You cancel your needs. You dismiss your feelings. You override your limits. Because somewhere along the way, you learned that keeping others happy was the safest way to stay loved. So you adapted. You became agreeable. You became flexible. You became available, even when it cost you peace, even when it cost you rest, even when it cost you honesty. You learned that conflict leads to rejection, that boundaries lead to distance, that saying no leads to disappointment. So you stopped saying no, and slowly, you began to abandon yourself. You started ignoring discomfort. You started minimizing exhaustion. You started tolerating what hurt you, because losing others felt more dangerous than losing yourself. But listen carefully. I did not create you to earn love through self-erasure. Mark 12:31 says, "Love your neighbor as yourself." This verse is teaching you something important. Love for others is not meant to replace love for yourself. The meaning of this verse is that self-respect is included in what I expect from you. You cannot love others well while constantly betraying your own limits. You cannot care for others while consistently neglecting yourself. You cannot give honestly when giving feels forced, because forced kindness becomes resentment. And resentment grows when boundaries are ignored. Galatians 1:10 says, "Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God?" This verse is teaching you that approval is not neutral. The meaning of this verse is that chasing acceptance often leads to compromise. Compromise of honesty, compromise of values, compromise of identity. You say yes because you fear rejection. You stay quiet because you fear conflict. You adjust because you fear disapproval. But every time you choose approval over honesty, you leave yourself behind. Matthew 5:37 says, "Let your yes be yes and your no, no." This verse is teaching you that clarity is healthy. The meaning of this verse is that honesty does not require justification. You are allowed to decline without over-explaining. You are allowed to disagree without apologizing. You are allowed to set limits without feeling guilty. A clear no protects peace. A hesitant yes often creates pressure. You think flexibility will keep connection strong, but connection that requires constant self-sacrifice is unstable. It depends on you never expressing discomfort. It depends on you always accommodating. It depends on you continuing to ignore yourself, and that is not sustainable. Luke 10:41-42 says, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one." This verse is teaching you about focus. The meaning of this verse is that not every request deserves your attention. Not every expectation requires your compliance. You are not responsible for meeting every need that appears in front of you. Your energy is limited. Your time is finite. Your capacity fluctuates, and that is human. You have been trying to manage everyone else's comfort, anticipating reactions, preventing disappointment, avoiding tension. But in the process, you have been uncomfortable. You have been disappointed. You have been tense. You learned to disappear, to maintain peace. But peace built on silence is not peace. It is suppression. You are allowed to feel frustrated. You are allowed to need space. You are allowed to say, "I can't do that right now." You are allowed to protect your mental energy. Every time you override your intuition, anxiety increases. Every time you dismiss your own discomfort, resentment builds. Every time you comply against your values, your confidence weakens, because self-trust cannot develop. When self-abandonment continues, you cannot feel secure while constantly betraying your own limits. You think saying yes will maintain closeness, but saying yes resentfully creates distance internally. distance from your needs, distance from your preferences, distance from your voice. And when you become distant from yourself, you begin to feel lost, unsure, disconnected. You ask yourself why you feel overwhelmed, why you feel exhausted, why you feel invisible. But invisibility grows when you hide your boundaries. I'm not asking you to become harsh. I am asking you to become honest. Honesty with kindness, clarity with compassion, boundaries with respect. You do not have to explain your no to be allowed to say it. You do not have to justify your rest to deserve it. You do not have to earn space to take it. You are not selfish for protecting what sustains you. You are responsible. You are not difficult for expressing your limits. You are clear. You are not unkind for declining what drains you. You are wise. Self-abandonment feels familiar, but familiarity does not make it healthy. You learned it to survive connection. Now you are learning to remain connected without losing yourself. Connection that includes honesty is stronger. Connection that includes boundaries is safer. Connection that includes truth is stable. You are not required to disappear to be accepted. You are not obligated to be available at all times. You are not responsible for managing everyone's emotions. You are allowed to choose yourself without guilt, because choosing yourself does not mean rejecting others. It means respecting what I placed inside you, your limits, your needs, your voice. You keep choosing others over yourself. But I am teaching you to remain present with yourself, to listen when something feels off, to pause before automatic agreement, to notice when you feel pressured, to respond instead of comply. Self-respect is not rebellion. It is alignment. Alignment with honesty, alignment with truth, alignment with the person you are becoming. My child, you do not have to abandon yourself to keep someone else close. You are allowed to remain whole in connection. You are allowed to stay present in your own life. You are allowed to protect your peace. And I am teaching you that loving others does not require leaving yourself behind. Stay steady, stay aware, stay honest. You are not losing love. You are learning to keep yourself